Today's episode of the Ross Cloud Podcast is sponsored in part by hiphopstationcharts.com, where you can view hip-hop and rap radio station song charts and track the promotion of your own song, such as view how many stations are playing your song and how often, including what day and time your song played. Check it out now. Visit hiphopstationcharts.com.
As democracy for decades to come, and it's probably all going to come down to one guy. To understand how all this works, you have to understand who is on our state Supreme Court and how it works. So let's break it down really quick. The North Carolina Supreme Court has 7 members and currently has a 5-2 Republican majority. 7 members means 4 votes makes a majority. So let's talk about who some of those votes could be. The first 3 of these are pretty easy. Chief Justice Paul Newby and Associate Justices Phil Berger Jr. and Tamara Berenger are all Republican politicians in judges' robes. They are hardcore partisans. They will vote for anything that helps Republicans and hurts Democrats. The merits of the case do not really matter. So they are 3 very likely votes to overturn the election.
Okay. We can start right there.
yeah. I mean, I like that one. And I sent that to you because our first conversation, we were talking about why some people don't discuss politics in general. And why they think it doesn't matter to them.
Sure.
Everything from, I make my money, it doesn't matter. I make my money, down through, they don't change anything anyway. Yeah. So what's the point?
Yeah.
In both cases, that's how you get a 5-2 majority on a state Supreme Court and what is actually a purple state.
Okay.
If you look at our elections over the years, last few decades even, it kind of goes up and down. It fluctuates. They'll vote for Republicans, Democrats, whatever, depending on the region and the climate for economic stuff like that. So this is a direct result of the backlash from Obama getting elected. So immediately after he got elected, the next midterm election, the House and Senate flipped here in state. And that is when they started to load a lot of the policy, the gerrymandering, those things, to basically flip the whole state red. So that's why you're seeing such an influx of, I guess, Republican rhetoric, people, money, everything in this state. Even down to this past election, they're still trying to overturn the state Supreme Court election that's going on now.
Yeah.
So a major part of that, which is odd because clearly they already have a majority, supermajority actually.
Oh, absolutely.
On the Supreme Court.
Absolutely.
But you're still trying to keep one more person from getting on because then it might balance that out and balance out that vote to the point they're willing to disenfranchise 60,000 voters, most of which were either military families because they voted remote for out of the country. So
you would think they get special treatment though with that.
Every time election comes, I support the troops.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably, we're old enough to remember.
Yeah, absolutely.
You had to wear a flag pin or that was treason.
That's
you
right.
Support the troops. And now.
And to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
All of those things.
Exactly. Well, you remember Freedom Prize, don't you, from 2001?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah, so they hit the tower, like the French. You don't want to go to war enough. We do Freedom Prize, and the Dixie Chicks got basically kicked out of country music because they said Navy. We shouldn't listen to President Bush, and we should listen to some facts.
I remember that.
And so we've come a long way in 20 years.
Yeah, we have. Quite a long way.
Not a
lot of things have changed.
Yeah.
They really have.
And we started to push away intellectuals in the sense that it's like America turned into the dude from your hometown when you come home from college. You think you better than me because you went off to school and got blah, blah, blah. Like, the whole country turned to that. Yeah. So you got scientists like Fauci, who's worked 30 years in infectious disease, and you'll belittle him as if he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
He's probably the only one who knows what he's talking about.
Absolutely.
And then you look at, cancer research, every other thing until it touches you and your family. And then it's, we got to do something about.
Yeah.
I mean, prime example, the opioid epidemic. Right?
Yeah.
So when that was crack, those people were looked at a certain way.
Yeah, I agree.
It touches
now all of a sudden, that's helped families.
Now it's the drug companies' fault. They never should have gave all this money. Never should have. Yeah. And it's the same exact thing. Now
it really is.
And I'm not trying to criminalize any of that.
Oh no. But
we have to look at the money and how we see money here and how we see capitalism here, because that's a large part of where all this stuff comes from. A lot of stock in the court is to make sure certain companies can do what they want to do without repercussion.
Gotcha.
And that goes to your other point you texted me about, which was the inauguration performance.
Yes, which
Yeah.
I didn't watch it, but just the different clips that was like resurfacing on Instagram. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It hurt my feelings, man. Like it literally, I felt bad because I felt almost embarrassed for the minister in a sense. When the minister, with the prayer.
Yeah.
I think he did the speech a disservice. I felt like it was really more animated and acted.
It really was.
Than it was any intention behind the real reason why he made the speech from his heart. It wasn't from his heart.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't do that in that room.
No, and the looks on their faces was like diabolical.
Yeah. Bro. Well, because in that room, either somebody is bastardizing the legacy in general by giving the content of their character quote instead of actually looking at what he talked about as far as finance, helping the poor. Like, there's a lot of stuff he said, especially towards the end, that people don't ever quote with equality and some other things like that.
Yes.
So you can't do that part of the dream speech. We had lived parts of the dream. That was the whole Obama presidency. And everybody in that room was anti from the jump.
Yeah.
In the same way everybody's saying, let's just give Trump a chance the first time.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe he'll do better the second time. Those are the same people who, while Obama was being inaugurated, were having meetings basically saying, we're not going to do anything. Like, we're going to block every single thing he tries to do. Yeah. So there's just no...
They literally did.
There's no integrity in that whole group. I mean, how do you do that? How do you know that some people will suffer?
Yeah.
But you'd rather have the power or make the point than to do anything for those people who suffer. And then you go on TV and blame the other people.
Yes.
Like it's their fault.
Yeah.
I mean, even Trump's acceptance, I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah.
I didn't either. Like I said, the clips, I caught a couple of clips and a few other things we don't talk about.
Yeah, I didn't want to see, I mean, so I was having a conversation with other friends.
Sure.
I don't have as big a problem with Trump himself as I do with the whole MAGA movement type thing.
Yeah.
Because he's always been a dick.
Always.
He's
always been an asshole, always been a dick, even as a business.
So from the 80s, and that was his brand. So he didn't do anything.
Even from the show Apprentice.
That's what I'm saying.
He was an asshole.
Back before that.
Yeah, back before that.
Rich and famous.
Oh my God.
Yes. So he's never been anything else.
No. He's consistent.
He's never led you to believe that he cares about anybody beyond himself first.
I agree.
And then whoever else is on that train with him. Yep. So when he says something that's racist, he probably does get along with some black people. I mean, so do slave owners. Like, they have black kids. So, I mean, that's not new.
No.
My problem is the hypocrisy in people who are supposed to be educated and supposed to be ethical and swore actual meaningful oaths to do certain jobs in Congress and the courts, police officers, etc. Like, that level of lack of commitment is what bothers me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I do.
He should be able to be him, and then the rest of us, the system corrects itself. That's the whole point of having democracy in 3 branches and everything else. But now you're at the point where the way information is shared and the way people choose to believe things without extra discussion. Like, I'm perfectly okay with being cynical. I'm a conspiracy theorist for the most part.
Right.
I never believe a story people tell me, especially if it's an official story.
I understand what you're saying.
But that you don't call that person a liar. You examine the facts. What are they telling you?
That's true, man.
You ask for more information. You ask for their sources. You look into it. Then you make your choice. And some people are outright lying to you. Do what you got to do. Some people are telling the truth, but the facts can be skewed a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's what we lost here, is that you shouldn't have to check your main media sources for that.
Yeah.
And that's really what's happening now. The one I sent you today, is that, what are you about to talk about now?
Yeah. No. That was the one where we just finished. That was the key one. That was the big one.
Yeah.
But I also ran across so much, because it's so much, even if we stay right there with them, with him saying his oath, and even with all the way from them booing President Obama as he was coming in, which I saw just like a clip, saying, you saw, and you're like, this man has shown so much class throughout all of this, but and just looking at behaviors on a whole, as we've always said, just the behaviors alone, you're like disgusted with the behaviors.
Yeah,
you're the president. You didn't show up for was it Joe Biden?
Yeah,
you didn't show up for that. It was just almost just like those type of behaviors. It's like I I just can't understand that at one of the highest offices that a human can obtain.
Yeah.
And you didn't show up. Although, but President Obama still sat, laughed with you, and talked with you.
Yeah.
Even though you said the things that you said about him.
Exactly.
And then the people boo him.
Exactly.
He showed up anyway, though.
I
know there's so much into that. Like,
well, I'm proud of him.
I am,
because I've been there too. Like I think we all as black men especially have showed up to somewhere where you knew you kind of weren't welcome and you still showed up because that's what you're supposed to do.
That's right. That's right.
But I also respect Michelle for being like, you know what?
I ain't going.
I can't fake it.
Nah, and she didn't.
Me there. Yeah. Well,
and she didn't.
And so this is my problem with Democrats as a whole. Yes, there should be integrity. Yeah. Yes, you should stand on what it's supposed to look like. You have to be an example. I get that.
Yes.
But at a certain point, you got to start playing the same game they're playing. Because the fact is, most people are intelligent enough in this country to decipher real from fake, especially when you're bombarded with all this other stuff.
Yeah.
TikTok, for example. Dude comes in.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Right. So, and I wasn't really sure because I don't use TikTok. So when it first started, I didn't know, and I saw AOC posted something about it. That's why everyone was so gung-ho that, if they have Chinese software that everybody's using here that could, negatively affect the country, then by all means, let's discuss banning it or having them update it because we do know how China does media in their own country. Cool. But she also said they didn't present any compelling evidence to show they were doing anything. So that was just you saying, it's as black men, it's us walking down the street. Hey, stop that guy. He did it. That's probable cause in most places in this country.
Absolutely, it is.
Now, you wouldn't stop, a businessman in a suit.
No.
If someone said he stole from me, you'd let's have a conversation. Me and you would be face down.
Yeah,
before anybody says anything. So that's how I see that. You pointed at the people who are different than you and said they're up to something.
Yeah.
Cool. Looked into it, nothing. He's the one who brought up the ban. He's the one who pushed the ban. It was honestly a compromise on Democrats' part to show hey, we'll work together for national security.
Yeah.
Then you wait and try to use it as a victory to get in the first week. So all that was I'm going to get it banned so I can also be the one who brings it back. And to not be able to see that is just very sophomoric of most of us to not see. This is odd that something was only off a couple hours. Yeah. And then, of course, that's the other link I showed you where some of the way it searches data and what it was showing you, who you follow and so on, had changed. Yeah. So they tweaked the algorithm while it was down. They tweaked a lot of the back end of that system, most likely pulling them off the servers and putting it back.
Understood.
So they could adjust it.
Understood.
Then you see, all the billionaires at the inauguration, all the major CEOs of the communications that we use in this country, sitting in front of where governors used to sit. The seats they sit in are supposed to be for distinguished guests like governors of major states.
The tech world running things.
So they sitting right up front. Like, we bought these seats.
Yeah, they bought them.
So
would you say that with this TikTok incident, and CapCut was affected too as well.
Okay. Didn't know that.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's a connect with that, but I would assume it is because it's easy to make those clips real fast and drop them right on TikTok.
That's probably
it gives you a direct link to them. Yeah. So you're right. But I wanted to ask you this, man. There's so much I want to ask you though. You talked about capitalism, but before we start talking about going back to capitalism, I want to talk a little bit, Jeff, about going back to TikTok. Do you think it was a money grab as we talk about capital?
I think so. I think it was a boost for Zuckerberg. I think that was part of his deal. So with some of the money he gave, some of the information he's helping with, you shut that down, they get a boost immediately.
Gotcha.
I don't know what the stock price did, but knowing that was coming, I would bet you that affected prices throughout. Plus, there's an element of control there and getting back on.
And I know I was speaking with one of our colleagues here recently, and he said to me, he was like, man, I don't know what they did over on Facebook. It was like, but a lot of good stuff have changed because of it. So I wonder, because of that incident, that money that he needed to make things better over at Meta, I wonder if that had something to do with it too. It just seems like all of this is connecting the dots.
There's definitely some dots we don't see.
Yeah.
So I
guess so. Yeah.
I doubt he needed money per se.
Yeah, because he got plenty of it. Yeah. Excuse me for that.
but no, like need is relative.
Okay.
When we say need, we mean like need it to pay for it. I can get more money
to build a structure or infrastructure to work for
just to have it,
and just to have it.
Plus, it's power monopoly. So if I'm the only game in town, imagine if MySpace was still around, and you still battling MySpace. Like something like this would have been a bigger deal, but it's not.
It's not. Nah.
I think that's
you were way back,
right? Something had to change because Zuckerberg was never on this train the first go round.
No, he wasn't.
Not up front like this.
Yeah.
Now
he was actually battling with the government in a sense.
But Trump was coming after him too, and he wouldn't stop some things Trump wanted to stop as far as like people sharing information, but he also wouldn't stop the false information, and that's what we now know via the reports and research after the fact is that was Russian interference, spamming us with all those articles and negative stories. Figuring like you might catch some of them, but you won't catch them all, which is why they had the fact checkers in the first place.
Sure,
they hired them as a result of a lawsuit from that election. Now they just got rid of the fact checkers.
Yeah, they did.
They're gonna let the community police it, and the community is stupid.
Well, let me ask you.
Most of America is at the 8th grade level, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You're probably right.
Most people America is at 8th grade level, and I'm probably right at 8th grade level. So
no, you don't.
If you weren't practicing critical thinking, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, let me ask you this, Jeff. Facts. Let me ask you this, man. Do you think? I don't even have to ask you this. I know what it is. The money follows the money. So I've been hearing about this Bitcoin, somewhere in the Bitcoin, like it went up. Like if you put, I think $18 in, what was it, $18 per share, I think it was, or something like that. I'm not real sure because I don't trade,
I'll tell you about it. Go ahead.
Okay, but so they were saying how it went up. Like people, if you put like $1,000 in, you rich today after he.
From the beginning.
Okay, yeah. Yes. Yeah. So go ahead. If you could answer that a little bit and put that in perspective about Trump having so much money and influence and power especially in real estate too. You know what I'm saying? And just him along business, relationships.
Yeah.
The money follows the money, I guess.
Okay, so this is all theory. And reminder to anyone watching that though Ross says I'm an expert, I'm not an expert in anything. I just follow this stuff. And we have good conversations about
Absolutely, bro.
So I do some crypto trading. Not a lot.
You dabble in a little bit.
I got into it during COVID. I got some of my friends follow it heavy. It's a version of the stock market. It's just more open-ended, basically.
Understood.
So you don't need quite as much to get in.
Okay.
You could literally take $5 and put it in a coin.
Gotcha.
So to your point, Bitcoin itself, which Bitcoin is a coin, so it's cryptocurrency, and there's lots of different cryptocurrency.
Sure it is.
Bitcoin is a specific one.
Gotcha.
So it's trading at $106,283. Oh, just went up. $106,300.
Yeah.
Per coin right now. So if you had bought $1,000 worth of coins when it was less than $1, that's the people who got really rich. I think maybe 6 years ago was when it really shot up. Yeah. So in the beginning it was less than $1, then maybe around $1, then $5 to $1.
Understood.
More normal, but then it shot up.
Yeah.
So if you were in that, you made some dough, especially if you got out before it dropped.
I understood.
It was higher than 106 at one point.
I got you.
Like for me, I got in with XRP and a couple other things. XRP is more of a protocol. It's not a coin itself.
Okay.
It's a way to securely send money. So the idea is that as crypto changes and grows, something like that's going to be more valuable. So I get on that when it was like 30 cents. A share.
Understood.
It's $3 a share now. So I will say that when Trump gets elected both times, the stock market did fluctuate some, and then Bitcoin did. As soon as he won the nomination, it went up a little.
Right.
Crypto did, and as soon as he won, it went up a little.
Understood.
But all that speculation.
Okay.
The same way we do gas in America.
Sure.
It's like it's all a guess.
So gas prices are a little lower than normal.
I mean, we always have enough gas. We could lower the price if we wanted to.
Yeah,
that's never a thing.
Okay, gotcha.
But the speculation on what may or may not happen. So if you think about it, if me, you, and two of our friends who've been on the show are having a discussion about what we're going to do next, and we all feel good about it, well, then that's going to reflect in how we talk about it. Yeah. So everybody who watches your show is going to have a positive outlook because we talked about it positive.
Sure.
If we talk about it negative, then they're going to leave the show thinking negative. Correct. And that's going to affect their confidence in what they do and don't spend. Right. That's all it is.
Right.
There's nothing really happening most of the time. There's not a single factor changing it. It's just more sentiment. So if all the rich white men in America say, no, that's going to hurt the economy. Well, it's going to hurt the economy because you are the economy.
Yeah.
It's not that it was going to hurt, but it is now.
It is now.
So for crypto, I think I like anything that levels the playing field. And it could.
Okay.
Most likely, it'll be like legalizing marijuana, where it seems like a great idea, and all the little men are going to finally get their day, and it's not. It's going to be top down, like tobacco and liquor and everything else was.
Sure. That's insane, man.
Yeah.
As we sit here and we talk about capitalism and how capitalism can be. Capitalism is so like on the edge of things to me because it's like this thing that could like make you successful overnight, literally overnight. If you create something, and that's just like I always refer back to when Lil Wayne used to say, "Do the do." You can do it, or keep doing your thing, or something he used to say.
Lil Wayne.
It
Okay.
was a long time ago. But remember when he had that sponsorship with Mountain Dew?
Okay.
And he was saying do the do or something like.
Okay.
I was just looking at that and I was like, hey, that right there, just from saying that in a song, got him a deal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was just thinking about that. You can create anything and just make money. Like if I say shut up and smack you. Sugar Smacks might call it to be a cereal deal.
You're right. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, so what makes capitalism so bad though, Jeff?
Capitalism isn't bad.
It isn't bad. Is it the people who are behind it?
It's like, okay, the gun argument. Guns don't kill people, people kill
guns.
Capitalism don't kill people.
No, it doesn't.
People with capitalism kill people. It's the same thing. It's basically a gun.
It really.
I mean, honestly, I was watching a story. I don't know if I sent that to you. I will if I didn't.
Yeah, please do.
There was a guy, same conversation on another podcast, I think, podcast or TV show.
Okay.
And so one guy asked the same question. Yeah. What about capitalism is bad? Why don't people understand what socialism actually is? What communism actually is? Yeah. What's that? Marxism? Like all these people talking about he's a Marxist.
Yeah.
What's a Marxist? You know what I mean? I've yet to meet someone who could tell me what it is.
I don't even know what it is. I've heard it.
I mean,
but I don't know what it is.
It's a theory by Karl Marx, but like most of it has nothing to do with what's going on here. And my thing is, A, you don't know what it is, and B, you can't tell me why the person you're saying who is one is that. Right. But then I tell you like Trump's a racist, and you say, well, there's nothing to prove. Like, I mean, if you're looking, there's plenty to prove. If you're looking for him not to be, then no, he never put a hood on and came out and said, hey. Let's all back to the field. But his policies right now, a lot of what he said has been that. If you were listening, so cool. Sorry, but I got off topic. So capitalism itself is supposed to be a free market that lets competition determine who wins.
It should be.
So your podcast and my podcast, we both put them out. Yeah, I heard you. I think, oh man, Ross is killing it. I got to up my game. I need better guests.
Correct.
I need better microphones.
Correct.
I need, I got you. So I went spend all this money. So everybody I spent money with made money.
Yeah. Microphone
guy.
Facts.
The switcher guy, the iPad guy.
There it is.
Everybody made money. So I get better. You see me, oh man, Jeff is killing it.
Yeah.
He's killing it. I got to get better. So now you go buy stuff. So everybody in our circle is in this whole business has come up because we're competing. Right? I'm not necessarily trying to kill you. Like no. Because if I do, let's say, okay, man, I'm tired of competing with Ross. Come on my team, Ross. We're going to do a show together. Someone else will pop up and challenge us. And then they're going to buy new gear. And they got to get a studio. And so that feeds the economy all around it.
Facts.
Competition box. We've taken it and tried to make it about rigging the game to destroy the other person.
Yeah.
So that's where you have like now you can barely get anything that ain't shipped from Amazon at this point.
Yeah.
Whereas 20 years ago, like they was out of the rock.
Oh yeah.
right? So
and TikTok making money off of that too. Because,
exactly.
But what I found out, and hold your point, hold that point there too, Jeff. What made me look at TikTok though, because I ordered some stuff from TikTok, and when I ordered it, the price was low, but the shipping, was sky high.
Yeah, because it ain't from here.
Yeah, so it was like a double-edged sword in a sense.
Well, and that's, we're in a weird generation, because I remember my parents and parents like beefing over Ford versus Chevrolet.
Oh yeah.
We buy American here, and not only that, but we pick which one we like here, and we gonna buy that forever.
We're gonna buy that forever.
And that's how America used to be. Everything had the stamp, made in America. You know, we manufacture this here. This is made in the Midwest. This is made so and so. And we don't do that anymore. Then we switch, and it's like, no, like I don't want to pay, $2 for this toothbrush when I can get it for 75 cents from here.
Yeah, that's true too. We don't want to do that anymore.
Now, if find out that toothbrush gives you cancer in 10 years because they didn't have any regulations in that country, and now you mad, now you want to sue them. It's like, you knew half of making stuff here was about quality control, was about, like Hanes used to stamp who inspected, you remember you bought some drawers, this guy inspected by right, number 37.
Well, when you can get 20 drawers for like $5, I'm concerned. What's in them drawers?
Exactly.
What's in them socks?
Hey, and
I saw it on TikTok.
Yeah, the plastic things. Yeah, plastic oils are not good to have next to your body.
Man, tear your skin up, man.
I mean, shoot baby powder, we got all that stuff. So So basically, it's a shortcut to the finish line, because let's say baby powder. Remember they found out it was causing cancer. Now, grandma tell you, my bad. Grandma will tell you some of that saying, "Oh, don't do that, baby. That'll get you. Don't do that." Like, you always thought that was wrong. You did, but now cancer.
Yes, sir.
But it's cheaper for them to make it, push it all them years, wait till you get caught, pay a settlement, pennies on the dollar for what you made over that 20 years.
Man.
And that's what most people do now.
That's what most people do.
Oil companies drilling, you maybe don't do all your safety standards. I mean, it feels to Gulf of Mexico for a couple of years. You pay a fine, a small percentage of what you made, and then you keep it pushing. Yeah. That's the difference in capitalism and how we do it. Because American capitalism is not true capitalism, where it's just that market and we provide, like, the way I see it, the government should be like referees at a good game.
I agree.
Like, they're there to keep it fair. They're there to say these are the rules, and then you pull people back in when they stray.
Sure.
But you don't affect the outcome of the game.
Nah, not at all.
And so they not only they take the referees and buy them. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to compete with you, but you're going to have to, it's like being in Deep South in the 60s with 2 black players on your basketball team. Like, play both of them if you want to.
Yeah. You're in trouble.
I promise you, they're going to you.
Promise you.
And you better get on the bus as soon as you leave.
I mean, real quick.
So, like, that's my only problem with the way we talk about capitalism. It's a catch-all. Like, free speech and capitalism are a catch-all anytime you screw somebody over.
I know, man.
Or anytime you say something that you should not say about someone. It's just free speech.
Yeah.
I mean, you're free to say whatever you want, but you're supposed to be liable for it.
Yeah. Good point. So as we continue to talk about this money thing, I got to talk about this, and then we can get into some deeper.
I know you're going.
We can get into some deeper conversation.
Go on in there.
I'll go in there, Jeff.
Go in there.
All right. So the entertainers right now are getting scrutinized because I wouldn't say all of them, as we stated before, a few of the entertainers that performed during Trump's inauguration, then they're letting Snoop Dogg have it right now, man. Mm-hmm. And so my question is, do you think it's warranted? In your I don't even know why I asked you that.
Let you finish. Yeah.
Do you think it's warranted that we hold these artists, hold them accountable for what they say? D1 said it real well. I don't know why we're so surprised. These are the same guys that talk bad about the community, poison the community with their words and things like that. Why are we so surprised that they go and do a job like this? We shouldn't be disappointed. We should almost expect it, in a sense. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I don't say all the way. So, do you think they're wrong in accepting those gigs, those jobs, if you will, with a person?
In this case, yes. Specifically.
Correct.
In general, not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
So for me, I don't like the argument that everybody's got a price. So on my feed, on my social feed, that was one of the pros were like, everybody's got a price, man. You can't be mad. You got to feed family. Ain't nobody was up there worried about money.
Oh, heck no.
You know, Nelly had part of the Hornets for years. He might still have part. He might still have some stuff in it. And from what I hear, he was a really good businessman as he was even making his money.
I heard that too.
So nobody up there needed the money.
And I think he got a school. He got like a school in St. Louis too. Art school. I have not researched all of it. But I mean, he's a good businessman. He's not broke. Yeah, it's not like when Hammer went broke feeding all his family. Absolutely. Yeah. Which is another good one, because Hammer went broke because he was taking care of everybody. He was not broke being stupid. Everybody. Yeah. So he was not broke, and he was just more over his skis because he was helping everybody. So for this group, if you were going, there are sometimes I'm okay with going to certain rooms that we know we're not welcome to be the representative, because I'm going to represent the us you should see and not the us you want to see. Right. So if I'm in that room in a Black Lives Matter sweatshirt, oh boy, and I'm rapping "Murder Was the Case" instead of something else, because that was a big deal. Like you were going to send me to prison because I had gangster rap songs, not because you knew I did something. That's where you come from. You've been preaching that the whole time. I mean, the whole time. And he's been mentoring kids. I mean, a lot of his kids that he coached football in the college are pros now. Absolutely. So he's done a lot of good things. He's helped a lot of families. But you also had the whole part, and because I mean, let's be honest. You can't listen to most of the '90s rap if you're a grown man no more. Like I can't listen to the same stuff I listen to. Some of it, but most not of it. So after a while, you're like, wow, I was listening to that? Dude. And now I know what they mean. I realized I didn't know some of the words. No. I thought I did. Now you do. Now I get the context. That's rough. And I'm around kids, nieces, nephews, raised kids. You have to tone it down. Yeah. So all that being said, they ask you to come. It's perfectly okay to say, nah, not this one, man. Yeah. Because honestly, they move in the same circles. Yeah, they do. Like all of them have been famous long enough. They might know Trump from before. You might even be somewhat cool. I agree with you on that. But that is where my problem comes in, is the problematic things that he represents, especially to our community. Mm-hmm. And that a large part of why you're being invited is to be the black friend. Oh, of course. To put a black face on this. Yeah. Because I'm a boo Obama. Oh, yeah. I'm going to talk shit about Michelle. I'm gonna, basically rescind all the progress that both Biden, Obama, and everyone else did, even going down to trying to disrupt the Civil Rights Act. Oh, yeah. So you acknowledge that women have rights. They had that bill on Biden's desk. Oh, yeah. So we didn't even we'll do that in a different one. Yeah, we can. The actions he's doing the last few days, the presidential act. So these things are known. They were done for 4 years. He talked shit for 8 years. He never acknowledged the election. There's so many things you could have said, no, not me. Mm-hmm. Now, yes, everyone has a price. My problem is you only apply that when you want to defend someone. Because the fact is, I don't have a price for some things. It's some things you can't get me to do. True. I don't care how much you pay me. Yeah. And we all have those. Yeah, we do. So if you have one at all, why is this one different? I see what you're saying. Right? Yeah. Like you couldn't have got Snoop up there to wear rainbows and perform a Sam Smith song. Nah, he wasn't going to do that. But he has a price. So why not? I see your point. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Like you're not going to get him to do Birth of a Nation and reenact the movie. No. Not at all. Why? Because you have a line somewhere. Yeah. So if there's a line, why is your line so far down the road? I see. You didn't need the money. And then for Snoop specifically, you was talking 4 years ago. Before anybody even accepted, you was trashing people who might accept the number. Yes. Do the same performance. That's true. And then you go up there and skip around. So that's where his problems are coming in at now. That was literally, mine too. Because when I saw it resurface, I was like, oh man. Yeah. So unless you know the power of social media, don't say anything that you don't mean. Yeah. But I'm gonna come back to her. I'm sure he meant it. I'm sure he would even settle if this time if he said. You come back on and you say, look, I know I said that, and I meant that at the time. Mm-hmm. What I'm seeing now is I need to do this for, I agree. Give you a reason. I agree. It's going to be bullshit, but at least it would have shown you put some thought into it, and you know that, okay, this is a contradiction from before. Yeah. Because I was just reading in the chats, once those chats are diabolical, man. Once you go into the feed, And once you start seeing that stuff, I'm like, wow.
I mean, I'm not a fan of cancel culture where you actively try to get people
I'm not with that either.
But I cancel people in my own head all the time.
You be like,
you can't live here. In this head,
I got
doing
you.
that. So for me,
I got you.
I need to see nothing else. I need to see the performance he did.
I don't even want to see none of that either.
Because I could say the same way he did this, some of those really rich people pay celebrities, like he DJs, like he actually DJs.
He actually DJs.
So like you have him come to a bar mitzvah. You have him come to some of these other rich people in the room who are the same racist people we know, but that's a private party at their house.
And they ain't saying nothing publicly.
That's when you just do it for the money.
I see what you're saying.
I can shut up and DJ for this. Yeah. And I might throw a little, a little education in there for the people attending.
Absolutely.
Oh, Snoop, you one of the good ones. Oh, well, actually,
one of the good ones. Hold on, what do you mean by that?
Here's what that means when I hear you say, like, because I mean, I've done that before. I mean, that's what it's incumbent on us to do that.
Yeah, man.
That's the education I want to provide. I'm not going to do your research for you. I'm not going to help you be ethical. I'm not going to help you be respectful. But if you're talking to me and we're supposed to be somewhat cool, and you say some slick shit like that, I'm going to try to educate you.
That's a damn problem.
I did.
Yeah, that's a damn problem.
Or like what my dad went through, and this is why I don't agree with that. What my grandfather went through, and this is why. Why didn't y'all just this? Or
people just do that. Yeah, it seems like we all have those stories too. When we look back on it, we should have some.
Everybody should.
Everybody has some type of story where they can say, "Yeah, I've been on the curb before with handcuffs on."
I used to pick my outfits.
I literally have,
I would pick my outfits where I was going based on how much I thought we might have cops interact with us, because I don't want to be in my good stuff if they make us lay on the ground.
That's a good point.
In high school.
That's a good point, yeah.
And I told a group of kids that when I was coaching, and they were like, what?
What?
And mind you, I was 40 then, and I still dress for certain areas that I drive to. And they was like, why are you wearing a suit? If you just came from such
hey, I'm just saying.
Hey, but when they stop you and you in this, they put you one way.
Well, Jeff, your experience at Carolina, what was that like, man? Since we touched on it, I know it's politics as usual, but
everything's politics.
Everything is politics. Did you have some experiences, man, while you were there?
At UNC itself, on campus, no. Okay. I got pulled by a state trooper leaving to go to was going to Wet n Wild. Wow. Driving. Black state trooper pulls up, like sped off like he was leaving. So basically, getting on the highway, right when you leave Chapel Hill, literally the exit to leave. He got behind me. He's running my plates. I saw him. Since I was 16, I'm used to.
Yeah, I remember what it was. Yeah.
So he runs my plates, coming out the vein, flies past me. I'm like, cool. So I started to speed up, you know, because I'm under the speed limit.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
So I go like, 69 to 65. He's pulling away, slams on brakes, gets in the other lane, drops behind 3 cars back, pulls all us over. Right? One was my ex in a different car, like 2 people.
Dude, I know you were sitting there. Right?
And there's an old white lady got caught in the middle. She was the second car. So she pulls over, and then literally he walks up, taps her, he's like, go ahead, and then walked up and tried to give me a ticket. But see, he didn't know. He told me I was doing 76 or 77, but he didn't know my car was actually jacked up. My engine was messed up. It couldn't go over 70. I couldn't go over 70. Oh my God. It was like overheat. He didn't know that. So got a lawyer, and the lawyer basically told me you can't argue with state troopers. Like, you can go to court, and the judge is probably going to take the state trooper's word for it. So just settle. So I tell that story to let people know, like, well, why don't you just do? Yeah, you can't. The justice system don't work for us the same way.
No, it doesn't.
And a lot of people who are criminals took a plea because they were scared to risk 10 to 15 over 2. And you said, I can suck this up and I can do it, not knowing what that's going to attach to your life. Which, circling back to politics, is why that's stupid to somebody who has already been charged with 34 felonies and convicted, already been convicted of fraud. Like, so these people, you told me my whole life to be respectable, I had to be a certain way. I had to talk a certain way. I had to dress a certain way. Yeah. And then you elected someone twice who won't do any of it. Any of it. And anybody who's connected to it, I got no respect for you. Yeah. Because you lied to me.
Yeah. Proud Boys found got released.
Right.
22 years. Was facing 22 years. Yeah. And January 6th, I think he was released.
So did you see this dude's picture?
I did.
Did you see his mama's picture?
I did. I know, man.
So how do you think he white is my question.
That's what everybody's been saying too, Jeff.
But I assumed I assume like Cuban or some other also ethnic.
Maybe so. I think
but his mama is the whitest of whites. I got to see his daddy. I got to see his daddy.
That's what we
really hung with the football team. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You can move on from that one.
Yeah. So it just seems like it's wrong for wrong. You know, if you're wrong, you're right. That's what I mean to say. If you're wrong, you're right.
Well, with this, we're making decisions. I have decided he is right. Therefore, looking through that lens, everything else I look at is going to be, well, he must have meant this because he's right, you know, and it seems like he's wrong because you don't understand that he meant this. He didn't mean to say it that way. Oh, that's what he's talking about this. Oh, y'all just change it. So whatever it is, I'm coloring based on my preconceived notion that he's already right.
Yeah.
But that's our problem just societally with social media and how we use media. Because everybody blames the media.
Yeah.
But there's so many medias to consume. That's the one you watch. That's the ones you heard.
True.
There's NPR. There's all kinds of stuff that you don't watch.
Man,
you can see.
And I'll be honest with you, you need to be listening to NPR, actually.
If they tell you what you're supposed to think, that's not news.
No,
right? If you're supposed to be angry when you finish that, that's not news. News should have been the facts. This is what happened. The date, the time, who was involved. This is what witnesses said. That's news. The rest of this stuff is all opinion.
I agree.
And it's good to get some opinion. It's good to kind of hear it bounce back to you from somebody else, but it can't be all opinion. Not all the time.
Not all the time. Yeah. So I know we're probably running out of time a little bit, but I do want to mention this to you, and I really want to hear your thoughts about it. I was just thinking about it when you were making you said a few things, but I want to talk about citizenship a little bit and what we see happening now with citizenship and how that's going for those that are U.S. birth right citizenship. Can you kind of explain that a little bit?
From what I followed, so it's two parts.
Yeah.
One is what I think is happening now. One is what I think is coming.
Yes.
So the initial push is right now you can come to the country, and if you're born in the country, so your parents are legal, you get here, they have you're a citizen.
You're a citizen.
You're born here.
Gotcha.
So if anybody gets caught, they can be deported, but you can't.
Understood. Okay.
So the attack is to prevent that. So, I mean, honestly, the pragmatic person in me, you know, most black people are conservative to a degree. Not as conservative as this group who claims to be conservative, but we are, like, especially if you grew up in a church.
If that's conservative,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, for me, I don't have a problem with you readdressing how immigration works.
Yeah.
My problem is, we all know you're only looking at a small group of people.
Yeah.
Specifically Hispanics at this point, because that's the easy target.
Oh, yeah.
But we've been the easy target. So black people needn't think that that's going to be where it stops, because you also get Caribbean. You know, they just said the Haitians eating dogs. So Jamaicans, everybody else, and Cubans need to understand too, because they voted heavily for Trump.
Yeah, they did.
Like, they going to put you on the boat too.
Yes, sir.
The moment you're not needed for whatever it is you're doing.
Bye-bye.
That's what I think is coming is what they've done really, really well for like 20, 25 years. Conservative think tanks and all of them, you know, the Heritage Foundation, ALEC, and all of them, they write all the laws and stuff. So when you're saying like, man, Trump did whatever, that dude don't read. He didn't do nothing. Now, he might have been talking, you know, giving racist rant somewhere. Somebody's entitled. He's a good mouthpiece. Yeah. Say what you want, he's a great mouthpiece.
Oh, he is.
He's what David Duke wanted to be in the 70s.
Ooh, that's a good point. God almighty.
That's what because David Duke wanted to clean up the Klan. We're going to wear
and David Duke act similar to that.
He liked Trump too. Yeah. So the whole point was we're going to give a much cleaner, respectable Klan. We're not going to be in hoods. We're not going to be dirty. We're not going to be country people. We're going to be, you know, corporate. So that was the whole point. And Trump just basically took that and put reality TV spin on it. So he's part Housewives of Atlanta. He's part Survivor. He's part Apprentice. Like, he's part entertaining TV.
Yeah, he is.
So for people who, you know, like, it's like in your diet, you know you're supposed to eat vegetables, but you eating sugar, right? He's the sugar. Never disappoints. Sweet tooth, right? Yeah. Now you died of diabetes sooner than you should have, but hey, it was sweet. You had a good time.
Oh, but that's him. What makes it so funny? I got some honey buns.
See? You probably got broccoli and you got honey buns. So which one's gonna get ate first? There you go. There you go. That was our political.
Damn, that is such a great. God,
nobody wants to have a harder conversation than.
No, we don't.
Like I can be right, factually accurate.
Absolutely.
I prefer factually accurate because right is relative.
Sure.
I can be accurate and still not have all the facts.
Yeah.
I can be right and not be 100% right and you're wrong.
That's true.
That's the point that we have to get to. Because the way we condescendingly make an argument back, a friend of mine on social today was saying, I feel like he was pointing to the climate of just everything Trump's been doing the last few days and just some of that negativity and stuff. And a dude who's supposed to be his friend comes on and like was the most condescending of anything I've seen as far as how he responded to it. Now for me, I don't keep them people on my feed.
Right.
Because if we're supposed to be cool and we got mutual friends and stuff, you're not going to talk to me any kind of way.
Oh, absolutely not.
One, I can't be trusted not to come back at you harder than you meant for me to come back at you.
Because I'm going to. Absolutely, I'm going to.
You probably have seen that in my glory days, like shoot, that before Trump the first time.
Yes, sir.
No, I was coming back. Like,
yes, sir.
I ain't got the energy now, man. I'm not arguing with stupid people anymore. I mean, I screenshot it, I hold it. I just want you to see it later. Whenever this comes back to bite you, I want you to see it. But yeah, like that's our problem with discourse is you have to be able to hear that point so that you can give your counterpoint and not just dismiss that point. And then basically try to make them feel stupid, especially when you lack any evidence to prove your point.
Well, Jeff, in closing, man, do you think it's some hope for what we see happening right now in politics at all?
I mean,
do you think there's any glimmer of sunshine or hope anywhere? Bro?
Everything goes in cycles.
We got 4 years to deal with a lot.
Well, the best thing, I'd like to see media and Democrats specifically not harp on every little single thing.
I agree with that.
Because it's numbing.
Yeah, man.
Like, yes, that is bad. And you can do the same effective list of the month. Here are the top 10 dumbest things he did this month without telling me every single day.
Right. You
know what he said? You know what he did? Because that's how you miss Elon. He does Heil Hitler without saying it. And even the Anti-Defamation League was saying, "Oh, let's all slow down." Now, it's the same people that if you say you stack money like Hebrews on the, the rap song.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And they made them change it.
They sure did.
That was a compliment.
Very much. We know what the shekel rate is.
For us, it was. Now
you got a lot of money.
But now I know. So I didn't know at that high school age.
Yeah.
When World War I and World War II, that's what the soon-to-be Nazis and white supremacists, that's how they got people against the Jews in the first place.
Understood.
Was to say they keep all the money. That's why you're poor. The Jews got the money. The Jews run everything. And so that's how they, were able to do that discrimination. Knowing that, now I understand why you don't want to rap or say you stack chips like Hebrews.
Yeah.
But you could have said that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to
heard that
put them down
so
first.
long, though. I used to hear my parents say it.
But that's where, so as my minister used to say that, black people can't be racist because they lack the power to actually enforce the system that racism brings. Yeah. So you can be bigoted, you can be prejudiced, you can be judgmental, but you can't be racist, not in this country.
Not in this country.
And so that's where that comes in for me.
Understood.
I hear you say that hurts you.
Yeah.
I get it. I'll try to do better.
Yeah.
But don't come at me like I affected you somehow because we're the one group.
We're the one group.
Anything to you.
Get out of here.
I mean, you own all the bills in the black neighborhood. Yeah. You got all the power. So I think that's the difference is if there's going to be discourse, it has to be amongst the people who actually have that capacity for thought. Yeah. And we do have to engage with people who honestly can't even have that discussion yet. But you got to meet them where they are to start to have the discussion.
Yeah.
So that's when we were talking about this the first time about getting involved in politics.
Yes.
That Supreme Court imbalance in North Carolina affects laws here.
Oh, it does.
You live in this state, especially if you're trapping or doing anything else that's maybe, towing the line.
I know what you mean.
You should care because
you better care.
Your interaction with officers go to them.
Yes,
the Attorney General, Jeff Jackson, got elected. You want people in there who are going to do things for you.
Yeah.
And they might not do anything for you.
They may not.
But there are people aggressively against you. And would you rather have somebody who's does not know you exist and don't care, or somebody who's actively trying to fuck you up.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So that's where our politics has to go for us.
Yeah.
And so for me, I like the sentiment that the monkey don't stop the show, in the sense that
I got you.
You have to figure out how you can be successful no matter who's the president or who's the cop. So who's
someone's coming through the door.
I heard the footsteps first.
I did.
See,
and we talking about it's you.
Yeah, so
bro, I'll be under this table. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Hey, I was watching that door.
You watching that door too?
Like, hey, you hit that door.
Hit that door.
I watch cops.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, lost my soul. Yeah, what were we talking about? I totally forgot.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah. Just the discourse, man. It has to be. We have to meet people where they are and help get them up to speed. So you may not understand why the voting was an issue. You don't know why they didn't want absentee balloting, but then all of a sudden they did in states where it worked. You might not see the correlation or the contradictions, but those of us who do, whenever you see it, you got to talk about it. And then you got to talk to somebody else about it who wasn't talking about it before. I got a group chat with my boys. We talk about all this stuff.
Sure.
So that's not going to help. We already talking about it.
Yeah, that's true.
But are the four of us talking to anybody else about it? You know, are we talking to our parents? Are we talking to people who maybe have a different perspective on the same thing?
Sure, man.
That might help you reach somebody else.
Yeah.
That's all we can do.
That's a good point.
That, and position yourself financially to make money from the things you know they're going to do to rig the system.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the stock market. That's crypto. That's they're trying to force everybody back to work.
Yeah.
That's because these big time business owners are losing money on these rentals and leases on offices.
Yes.
And it's hard to keep employees because they can look for jobs or other stuff. So you're trying to force that back. That's a money thing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely. Man.
And I'm not saying it's not necessary, because I guarantee you downtowns everywhere are struggling because people aren't at work.
I agree with you on that.
So I'm not even saying we shouldn't do that in some form.
Sure.
But you just got to understand where the pieces are so you can help move the pieces for the people you know.
I love it.
That's the best thing we can do.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff, this has also, again, been just a great conversation, man, on politics, man. If you would, in closing, man, can you kind of tell the folks how they can get in contact with you? Because you are a photographer as well.
Yes.
And tell the folks how they can get in contact with you and follow you.
So the best way now is still Henphoto on Instagram, HENFOTO. And my website is henphoto.zenfolio.com. All the links and stuff are on there. I am working with Ross to
absolutely
to do a little something different here.
That's right.
So as we solidify the show, I'll have a different IG and web presence to do.
I absolutely love it.
Both politics as usual and maybe something else.
Right on, right on. I love it. So listen, I hope you guys have learned something today as we continue on this journey of politics. Again, this is Politics as Usual. I'm Chris Ross. Jeff Henighan. Peace.
Ready for a popcorn adventure? Popcorn Remix is more than just a snack. It's an experience. With over 50 bold and unique flavors like king crab legs, hot wings, and lemon pepper, and Charlene's banana pudding, every bite is a burst of culinary creativity. Founded by entrepreneurs Ryan Richmond and Greg Bowman, Popcorn Remix turns life's toughest moments into something sweet. Visit their Conyers, Georgia store or order online at popcornremix.com and explore flavors you've never imagined. That's popcornremix.com, where every kernel tells a story. Teachers and parents, are you ready to empower your students to become stronger writers? Check out Rethinking Writing One Word at a Time by Sheila Beverly, a workbook that's been praised by educators for its innovative approach to teaching grammar and writing. Dr. Daryl Morris calls it a motivational hook that helps students get their ideas down on paper, and other teachers rave about its hands-on tools like the grammar bubble manipulative toy to make learning fun. Perfect for classrooms or home learning. Get your copy now on Amazon and watch your students' writing skills shine.